In the early hours of the morning, as most of the region slept under a fragile calm, reports began to surface that sent shockwaves through global media and diplomatic circles. An explosion, reportedly powerful and sudden, was said to have occurred near Iran's highly sensitive Parchin military complex, a site long associated with missile development, advanced weapons research, and alleged nuclear-related activities. Within minutes, social media platforms were flooded with claims, videos, and unverified eyewitness accounts describing a bright flash in the sky, a loud blast that shook nearby areas, and plumes of smoke rising into the darkness east of Tehran. The words "breaking news" spread rapidly across international news tickers. Analysts, journalists, and governments alike scrambled for confirmation. Was this an accident? Was it sabotage? Or was it something far more dangerous? A deliberate strike on one of Iran's most guarded military facilities. Parchin is not just another military base. Its name carries weight, history, and controversy. Located roughly 30 kilometers southeast of Tehran, the Parchin military complex has for decades been shrouded in secrecy. While Iran insists it is a conventional military research and testing site, Western intelligence agencies and international watchdogs have repeatedly linked parts of Parchin to experiments that could be relevant to nuclear weapons development. These allegations have made Parchin one of the most closely watched and least transparent sites in the Middle East. As reports of the explosion circulated, speculation ignited almost instantly. Some accounts claimed the blast occurred near facilities believed to be connected to high explosive testing, the kind of experiments that could be used to simulate nuclear weapon triggers. Others suggested the explosion was near storage or testing areas linked to Iran's missile programs. With no independent confirmation available in the first hours, the information vacuum allowed rumors to spread faster than facts. Iranian officials moved quickly to respond. Within hours, local authorities denied that any explosion had occurred at a nuclear site or that there had been any attack on the Parchin complex. According to official statements, what residents heard and saw was part of routine military exercises and controlled testing carried out within the base. Officials emphasized that there was no danger to civilians, no damage to sensitive facilities, and no security breach. They accused foreign media and social platforms of exaggeration and misinformation, suggesting the reports were designed to fuel fear and instability. Yet skepticism remained. This was not the first time Iran had denied or downplayed incidents at sensitive sites. In previous years, explosions, fires, and mysterious accidents at military and industrial facilities across Iran had initially been described as routine mishaps, only for later investigations and satellite imagery to suggest more serious causes. In some cases, Iran eventually acknowledged accidents. In others, the true cause was never officially confirmed, leaving analysts to debate whether sabotage, cyber attacks, or covert operations were responsible. The timing of the reported Parchin explosion only added to the tension. The Middle East is already on edge, with ongoing conflicts, proxy wars, and escalating rhetoric between Iran, Israel, and the United States. Iran's nuclear program remains one of the most contentious issues in international politics. Despite repeated assurances from Tehran that its nuclear activities are peaceful, enrichment levels, restricted inspections, and past disclosures have kept suspicion alive. Parchin has always been central to these suspicions. For years, the International Atomic Energy Agency sought access to specific buildings within the complex, suspecting they had been used for experiments involving high explosives and nuclear weaponization research. Iran resisted those inspections for a long time, arguing that Parchin was a conventional military site and not subject to nuclear oversight. When limited access was eventually granted, critics argued that the site had been sanitized beforehand, further fueling doubts. Against this backdrop, Even an unconfirmed report of an explosion carries enormous implications. Financial markets react. Military planners reassess scenarios. Diplomats rush to prevent miscalculations. One misunderstood incident, one false assumption, could push the region closer to open conflict. Social media played a decisive role in amplifying the story. Short video clips, some with no clear location or timestamp, were shared millions of times within hours. Some users claimed the explosion was visible from miles away. Others insisted they heard fighter jets overhead or saw air defenses activate. None of these claims could be independently verified, yet each added fuel to the fire of speculation. International media outlets faced a difficult challenge: report too cautiously and risk being accused of ignoring a major event. Report too aggressively and risk spreading misinformation. Many outlets chose careful language, describing the incident as reported or alleged, while emphasizing the lack of independent confirmation. Security analysts offered competing theories. One possibility was a simple accident, a mishap during weapons testing or storage, similar to incidents that have occurred at military bases around the world. Another possibility was internal sabotage, perhaps linked to safety failures or internal dissent. The most explosive theory, however, was foreign involvement. Israel has repeatedly stated it will not allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons, and has been widely suspected of carrying out covert operations against Iranian facilities in the past. Cyber attacks, mysterious explosions, and targeted assassinations have all been attributed by analysts to a shadow war playing out beneath the surface. If the explosion were real and the result of sabotage, it would represent a serious escalation. Striking near Parchin would send a powerful message, signaling that even Iran's most guarded sites are vulnerable. Such a development would almost certainly provoke a response, whether overt or covert, and increase the risk of regional war. Iran's leadership understands this risk well. That is why official messaging focused on calm, control, and denial. By framing the event as routine military activity, Tehran sought to prevent panic at home and escalation abroad. At the same time, Iran's state media warned against psychological warfare, accusing foreign enemies of spreading false narratives to undermine national security. The international community watched closely. Governments in Europe called for restraint and clarity. Officials in Washington said they were monitoring the situation, but declined to comment on operational details. Israel remained silent, as it often does in such situations, neither confirming nor denying involvement in alleged covert actions. As hours turned into a full day, the absence of clear satellite imagery or independent verification kept the story in a gray zone. No dramatic images of destroyed buildings emerged. No emergency statements were issued by nuclear regulators. Life in Tehran appeared to continue as normal, and yet the sense of unease remained. This incident highlights a deeper reality of modern geopolitics. Perception can be as powerful as reality. Even if no explosion occurred, the belief that it might have happened is enough to raise tensions, shift calculations, and test red lines. In a region where mistrust runs deep and communication channels are fragile, ambiguity is dangerous. For Iran, Parchin symbolizes sovereignty and resistance to foreign pressure. For its adversaries, it represents unanswered questions and potential threats. Any event associated with it, real or rumored, becomes a global story within minutes. As night fell again, analysts continued to debate what truly happened. Some argued the entire episode was a case study in misinformation, a reminder of how easily unverified claims can dominate the news cycle. Others insisted that history suggests something more may eventually come to light, pointing to past incidents where the truth emerged weeks or months later. What is clear is that the Middle East remains perched on a knife's edge. The line between peace and conflict is thin, and the margin for error is shrinking. Whether the reported explosion near Parchin was an accident, a misunderstanding, or something far more serious, its impact has already been felt. The world waits now for clarity from satellite data, intelligence assessments, or official disclosures. Until then, uncertainty reigns, and in an era of rapid information and deep mistrust, uncertainty itself may be the most dangerous force of all.